Hello students, in this session I will start with the concept that is known to be a cyclotron. Very important concept for the board exam as well as the competitive. 1 or 2 mark question or a 3 mark question or a 5 mark question. See here, cyclotron is a device or a machine. It is used to accelerate the positively charged particle in order to get the high energy. What is a cyclotron? Cyclotron is a device or a machine which is used to accelerate the positively charged particles such as protons or alpha particles, charged ions or particles to get the higher energies. Definition for a 1 mark question. What is cyclotron? Is it clear now? Then it was invented by the scientist name is known as Lawrence and Livingston in the year of 1934 to investigate the nuclear structure. It was invented by the scientist name is known as Lawrence and Livingston in the year of 1934 to investigate the nuclear structure. 2 mark important question. What are the uses of a cyclotron? The first uses, the definition itself is the uses. Cyclotron which is used to accelerate the positively charged particle in order to get the high energies. That is the first use. The definition itself is the one of the application. The second one, it is used to investigate the nuclear structure for a 2 mark question. Nodi makle definition 1 mark kelbodu. ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಯೂಸಸ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನನ್ನು ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಯೂಸಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಎನಿ 1 ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈಕ್ಲೋಟ್ರಾನ್, ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಆಯಿತು, ಸರಿಯಾ? ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ಇನ್ ಎ ಸೈಕ್ಲೋಟ್ರಾನ್ the charged particle that works in the electric field as well as the magnetic field, and that electric field and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other or they are crossed with each other. ನಾವು ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ, ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ದಟ್ ಆರ್ ಎನರ್ಜೈಸ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಆದರೆ ಆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಹೇಗೆ ಎನರ್ಜೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ, ಈಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ಆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎನರ್ಜೈಸ್ ಆದ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್ with respect to the magnetic field. Therefore in cyclotron the charged particle that based on electric field and magnetic field, and that electric field and magnetic field are crossed or perpendicular to each other, that is considered as the principle of cyclotron. Is it clear? ಇದನ್ನು ಸಹ ಬರಿಬಹುದು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಎಟ್ ದ ಎಂಡಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಬರಿಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು. ಎಸ್, ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ದಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ದ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾತ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನಾವು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ, ಇನ್ ಎ ಸೈಕ್ಲೋಟ್ರಾನ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಬೋತ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೂವ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ದಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾತ್. 1 mark question. What is the use of magnetic field in cyclotron? What is the use of magnetic field in cyclotron? It is used to the, or it makes the charged particle that can move along the circular path, and the electric field accelerate the charged particles. Again 1 mark question. What is the use of magnetic field and electric field in case of cyclotron? This is the explanation or this is the answer. Is it clear? 1 or 2 mark question. See here, principle we are done. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಹೀಗೆ ಸಹ ಬರಿಬೋದು. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್? ಎ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಟೆಡ್ to very high energy. A charged particle can be accelerated to very high energy with a small alternating electric field, which means we are applied by the electric field. By applying the electric field, the charged particle will be energized, or the charged particle will be accelerated. Therefore, by making it to cross the same electric field again and again, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ, ಈ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಪುನಃ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡನ್ನು ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಇಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ದಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ the particle that can move along the circular path. That is the reason why to cross the same electric field again and again with the help of a strong magnetic field. The same term we are done over here. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ? This is the principle. 2 mark question. What is cyclotron? Write the principle of cyclotron or mention the principle of cyclotron is for a 2 mark question. Principle ಅನ್ನು ಹೀಗೆ ಸಹ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸನ್ನು ಬರೆಯೋದಾದರೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಸಹ ನೀವು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇನ್ ಸೈಕ್ಲೋಟ್ರಾನ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ in case of both electric field and magnetic field, and this electric field and magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other. ಹೀಗೆ ಬರೆದ್ರು ಸಹ 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬರೀಬಹುದು. ಹೋಪ್ ಯು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ? ಈ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? illalwa. This is all about the basic concept of cyclotron. Cyclotron is a device which is used to accelerate the positively charged particle. There is the presence of electric field and magnetic field. Electric field that can energize the charged particle or that can accelerating the charged particle. Magnetic field that can mix the charged particle that can move in a circular path. Based on that, we are done by the principle. As the continuations of the cyclotron, that is the constructions of cyclotron. The cyclotron, which consists of two hollow semicircular discs, it is similar to the English letter D. That is the reason why that two hollow semicircular discs are known to be Ds. What is that is known to be Ds? That is expressed by D1 and D2. The gap between the two Ds in which we are placed by the positive ions. Is it clear? The gap between the two Ds in which we are placed by the positive ions. Then the two Ds are connected by high frequency AC. This source is known as AC high frequency oscillator. Here it is the deflecting plate. The accelerated positive ions are deflected toward this plate. See here the construction. The cyclotron consists of two hollow semicircular disc-like metal containers D1 and D2, which are called Ds. Then a source of a positive ion is located near the midpoint of the gap between the two Ds. The source of positive ion is located near the midpoint of the gap between the two Ds. Then the Ds are insulated from each other. The two Ds are insulated from each other since we are given by the high strong varying electric field. Is it clear? Therefore, the Ds are insulated from each other and enclosed inside the another vacuum chamber. The Ds are connected to a high frequency oscillator. See here, the Ds are insulated from each other and it is connected to a high frequency oscillator. And these two Ds in which we are placed by either side of the Ds, we are placed by the strong electromagnets. Therefore, where N refers to the north pole, S refers to the south pole of the electromagnet. ಈ complete setup ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು strong electromagnet ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಿ. Now the whole apparatus is placed inside the vacuum chamber. That point we are done here. The Ds are connected. Before that is the Ds are insulated from each other and enclosed inside the another vacuum chamber. Now the Ds are connected to a high frequency oscillator. As a result, as we are given the electric field, varying electric field is produced in the gap between the two Ds. As we are given the electric field between the two Ds, ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಈ Ds ನ ನಡುವೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೈ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಆಸಿಲೇಟರ್ನ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಹೈ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಆಸಿಲೇಟರ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಏನನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ಸ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಟೂ Ds. Dsಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 0. ಬಟ್ ದಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಈ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ Dsಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ದರ್ಫೋರ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ Ds. Inside that is the electric field is 0 or potential is constant. Now the whole apparatus is placed between the two powerful strong electromagnet that is known to be N and S. Is it clear? This is all about the constructions of cyclotron. For a 3-mark question, diagram along with the explanation. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬರೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ವಾಟ್ ದ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್? Cyclotron which consists of two hollow semicircular discs are known to be Ds. And these two Ds are insulated from each other and it is connected to a high frequency oscillator. And the gap between the two Ds in which we are placed by the source of positive ions, where P refers to the source of positive ions. Is it clear? As the electric field is applied, the gap between the two Ds in which the electric field is produced, because of this electric field the positive ions will be accelerated. The positive ions will be accelerated. That acceleration we will discuss in the working part. This diagram ಅನ್ನು ಪುನಃ ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಸರಿಯಾ? This therefore the complete apparatus is placed inside the vacuum chamber. Is it clear? This is all about the construction. This is all about the constructions of cyclotron. Next we will see about the working of cyclotron. Yes, now we will see the working of a cyclotron. The positive ions that are placed between the or gap between the two Ds. Here the positive ions are placed gap between the two Ds. ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ positive ions ಅನ್ನು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. We are applied by the high frequency oscillator now. That is the reason why the gap between the two Ds in which there is an electric field is produced. Because of this electric field the positive ions are accelerated. At that instant D1 is maximum positive potential. ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ D1 ಇಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್. D1 ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಏನಾಯಿತು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ D2 ಇಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್. ಆ್ಯಸ್ ದ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಟೆಡ್, ಈ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಟ್ ಆದಂಥ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ ನೋಡಿ, ದ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಟೆಡ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆನ್ಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ರೀಚ್ ಟು ದ ಆರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಸ್ to the Ds is known as D2. While entering into the Ds, the speed of the positive ions are constant is because of the electric field is equal to 0, potential is constant. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ನೋಡಿ, the positive ions are accelerated by varying electric field. ಈ accelerated ಆದಂಥ positive ions ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರೆದಿರಿ ನೋಡಿ, that are reaching towards the Ds is known to be D2. Before that, because of the high frequency oscillator, D1 is positive potential, D2 is negative potential. As the positive ions are accelerated, ಯಾವಾಗ positive ions ಅನ್ನು accelerate ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, that will reach to the Ds is known as D2. ಅಲ್ವಾ? When the positive ions that are entering into the Ds D2, ಯಾವಾಗ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು D2ಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ದ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆನ್ಸ್ ರಿಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 0 ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ Ds ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ V is equal to constant. That is the reason why the speed of the positively charged particles or the positive ions inside the Ds remains constant. Therefore, what is the path followed by the charged particle inside that is, ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ತೋರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, path followed by the semicircular, sorry, what is the path followed by the charged particle inside that is, that will be semicircular path ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕಲ್ನ ಹಾಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಟನ್ನು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೇಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು ನೋಡಿ, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ions to be accelerated is produced at P if at that instant D1 is maximum positive potential and D2 is maximum negative potential, ion will be accelerated towards D2, which means it is enters into the D2. On reaching D2, the ion will move with a constant speed V. This is known to be the letter V, that is nothing but speed. Because of the electric field is 0, but due to the perpendicular magnetic field, nodi, these two Ds are placed between the two perpendicular magnetic electromagnetic, that is N and S. Therefore, because of the perpendicular magnetic field, the ion will describe a circular path D2. Therefore, the radius of that circular path is calculated by R is equal to mv divided by qb. Because of the centripetal force, the force experienced by the charged particle in case of magnetic field, F is equal to qvb, where F is acts as an centripetal force. Therefore, mv square by R is equal to qvb. Therefore, R is equal to mv divided by qb. That term we are defined now. ಆ ಟರ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. therefore R is equal to mv divided by qb. ಸರಿಯಾ? ದ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಓವರ್ ದ ಹಾಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಓವರ್ ದ ಹಾಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್. ನಾವು ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಆದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ Ds ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ T is equal to 2πr divided by V. ಬಟ್ 2 ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ದ ಸೆಮಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾತ್, ಆದ್ರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ 2 ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್, ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ 2 ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ. therefore the distance traveled ಸೆಮಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾತ್ ಆದ್ರಿಂದಾಗಿ πr ಆಯಿತು. ಯಾಕೆ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ 2πr ಫಾರ್ ದ ಒನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, 2πr ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಸರ್ಕಲ್, ಹಾಫ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ 2 ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್. therefore that will be πr divided by V. in the next step, πr divided by V, R is replaced as mu divided by qb. therefore VV gets cancelled out. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಏನು ಉಳಿತದೆ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ πm, ಆರ್ನ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಟರ್ಮಿಂದ. ಆಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಉಳಿತು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ πm divided by qb. ದ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಟೈಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೇರ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ವೈ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ರಿಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನೋಡಿ. ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೇರ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ. therefore where T is equal to half the period of cycle of the oscillator. T is equal to, small t is equal to half the period of cycle of oscillator. Now as the ions arrives between the gap of the Ds, ಇದೇ ions ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಈಗ ಸೆಮಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾತನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿದೆ. as the ions arrives at the midpoint of the Ds, at the midpoint of the mid gap between the Ds, now the polarity will be reversed. ಈಗ polarity ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. therefore what is the polarity on D1 is negative. what is the polarity on D2 will be positive. ಯಾಕೆ ಪೊಲಾರಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ದಟ್ ಆರ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಟು ಲೋವರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್. ನೋಡಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈಯರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ D1, ಲೋವರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ D2, ಬಟ್ ಮಿಡ್ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟನ್ನು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದಾಗಿ D2 ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್. ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಅಯಾನ್ ಎರರ್ಸ್, ಈಗ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾತಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದ ಅಯಾನ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ Ds ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಆಗ ದ ಪೊಲಾರಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ಡ್. ನೌ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್. It is positive, nodi alva. Now therefore the ion that are entering into the disc will be d1. Again the speed of the ion inside the disc remains constant. Since the electric field is equal to 0, potential is constant. Again, because of the magnetic field that can followed by the semicircular path, R is equal to mu divided by qb. Then time is equal to pi m divided by qb. That is the time taken by the ion inside the secondary disc, that is known to be dt. This is all about the working. The same point that is written over here. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಏನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅದೇ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್, ಆಸ್ ದ ಅಯಾನ್ ಅರೈವ್ಸ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಟೂ ಡೀಸ್. ಎರಡು ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ನಡುವೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ದ ಪೊಲಾರಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ಡ್. ಈಗ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸಿನಿಗೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಯಿತು, d1 ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಏನಿತ್ತು, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇತ್ತು. d2 becomes positive potential. Thus the positive ion is accelerated in the gap towards the d1 and enters with the d1 with the greater speed. ಯಾವಾಗ d2 ಇಂದ d1 ಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ, the speed of the positive ion is increases. ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗುವ ಮೊದಲು, ಎಂಟರ್ ಆದ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ, d1 inside the disc the speed remains constant. ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಡೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದರೂ ಡೀಸ್ನಿಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆದ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ, d1ಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆದ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ರಿಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ the ion move along the circular path of the greater radius. As it move along the d1, d2 ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ d1 ಗೆ ಬರೋದರ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. Therefore the path followed by the path followed by the positive ions will be a semicircular path is because of the magnetic field with the greater radius, as if we are considered in the first case. Is it clear? This is all about the working of a cyclotron. Therefore we have to copy these notes. Again 3 mark question. Explain the working of a cyclotron with a neat label diagram and explanation. 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಇದನ್ನು ಸಹ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ 1 ಅಥವಾ 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ 3 ಮಾರ್ಕಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೂ ಸಹ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸರಿಯಾ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ cyclotron, that is theory. What is the theory behind the cyclotron? We will discuss now. If R is the radius of the outermost orbit of the ion, which means that as we are studied about the working theory of the cyclotron, because of the applied high electric field, the cyclotrons are moving in a semicircular path, and that magnetic field that helps to move the particle in a circular path. Inside that is the electric field is equal to 0 and potential is equal to constant. But at the gap between that is the accelerations of the ions will be increases. Therefore, if R is the radius of the outermost orbit of the ion and Vmax is the maximum speed gained by the ion at the outermost orbit, R is the radius and Vmax is the maximum speed of the moving charged particle, then according to the force on a moving charge, F is equal to QVB. QVB is written as BQV maximum. Same term adu, BQV maximum, that is nothing but QVB is equal to force. Force is considered as a centripetal force since the charged particle follows the semicircular path. Therefore mv square maximum divided by R. By arranging the term, our Vmax is equal to velocity maximum is equal to QBR divided by M. By simplifying this term, we get it as V maximum is equal to QBR divided by M, which means the moving charged particle which has the velocity at the outermost orbit with the maximum velocity is written by Vmax is equal to QBR divided by M. Q is the charge, that is constant. B is the magnetic field. R is the outermost radius of the outermost orbit, and M is the mass. Q and M are constant, therefore V is related to B and R. Then hence kinetic energy is equal to half mv square is equal to half m is as usual. V is substituted as V maximum square, that will be QBR divided by M, that is written as Q square B square R square divided by M square. By simplifying this kinetic energy of the cyclotron, we are getting as B square Q square R square divided by 2M. Is it clear? This is the theory part of the cyclotron. Suppose they may ask, error the expression for kinetic energy of the positively charged ions in the cyclotron. That part you have to write, this part you have to write. Is it clear? Working condition of cyclotron, the very important 1 mark board question, very important. Write the working condition of cyclotron, very important question. See here, the condition for acceleration of the ion in the gap between the D's, that is also known to be working condition of cyclotron. What is the sentence? The condition for acceleration of the ion in the gap between the D's is that the time taken by the ion to move or to travel in the semicircular path is equal to time taken by the ion to reach the semicircular path is equal to half the frequency of oscillation of the applied electric field. See here, the time taken by the ion to travel the semicircular path. What is the time taken by the ion to travel the semicircular path? Just now we are proved the equation pi m divided by qb. ಬರ್ದಿರಿ ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? ಟೈಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ equal to half the period of oscillation. The actual period of oscillation is done by t. Therefore that is equal to half the period of oscillation of the applied high frequency oscillator. That is the reason why that is written as pi m divided by qb is equal to t divided by 2. ಇದನ್ನು ಬರೆದರೂ ಸಹ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Write the working condition of cyclotron, either the sentence or an equation. By using this we can calculate the time period of revolution of the charged ions. T is equal to, by rearing this we get it as T is equal to 2 pi m divided by qb. Based on the time period we are calculated by the frequency of that charged ions. F is equal to 1 by T reciprocal relation is equal to qb divided by 2 pi m. 2 mark or 3 mark important question. Write the expression for time period and the frequency of the charged particle or the positive ions in a cyclotron, time period and frequency, hence explain the terms. Model paper ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಸಹ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. 1 mark question. Write the working condition of cyclotron. This is all about cyclotron. ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ. 3 ಮಾರ್ಕಿಗೆ 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇಷ್ಟು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಂದ ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಸಹ ನೀವು ನೋಟ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಎಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.